Hey guys, Ghost here. Croesus has been out for a little bit now, and I know they've got the 4-man strategy down pretty well on the whole PvMe rotation, but I just wanted to share something me and some friends have been doing recently, which is a faster rotation where we only do 3 statues, and makes the kill times a bit faster. So I just want to preface this video by saying that there is kind of an ongoing debate right now with whether or not this is in fact faster. I know there's a lot of teams that are doing extra stuff, doing all 4 statues, rotting all 4 of the nodes, waiting for the second fungus special attack, the special energy fungus, all to farm more contribution. And then I've heard the other sides of the debate where people are saying they've done the testing and this faster kills per hour method that I'm showing in this video is faster contribution per hour. I don't know which side is right. I don't think that we have enough information. Nobody knows really anything about how the drop rates in this boss work yet, and I don't think we really have enough kills in the community to estimate anything. We don't have a decent enough sample size yet. So with all that being said, in my opinion, the safest bet is to just go with the fastest kills per hour possible, and that is what I am going to show you guys in this video. So we will start off with archaeology relics. Alright, so 2 of the notable relics here, obviously Persistent Rage isn't going to do anything, but you do want Luck of the Dwarves here. I suppose this isn't necessary, you don't need it. I would highly recommend it. It's not like you need any other relic in the slot, so if you have it, use it, because this means that you can camp the Pontifex Shadow Ring in order to get the tier 3 troves, but you will also still get the effects of tier 4 luck from the Luck of the Dwarves. And then on top of that, you want Shadow's Grace. This one is very important. This is going to be your mobile perk because we will have a skilling offhand and a tool main hand, neither of which can get the mobile perk. So we will, in fact, need this. So these are the 2 relics you're going to want, and that is it for relics. Next, we will move on to inventory. Alright guys, so first off we're going to start off with the general preset. This is going to be excluding everything that you would change in between nodes. So everything you see here is the things that you're going to be using no matter which node you go on. So I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with this section and actually explain each one of these things so you know what they're used for exactly and decide whether or not you really want to use them. So first off, in our inventory here we got Weapon Poison and Cinderbanes. These are fairly important for proccing poison damage to the boss, killing it faster. I know a lot of teams are not using these because if you don't do this, then it means you get more contribution overall in the kill. But as we touched on earlier, the idea of this method is fastest kills per hour, so that's why we have those. Next up is the Extreme Hunter Potion. We will drink this on the middle node if it's Hunter when we're killing the boss. Because this boosts your skill level, which is the only thing that matters for the middle node. No other boost matter, just your level. So we drink that, and that allows for consistent 2-cycle kills if the middle node is Hunter. 2-cycle meaning we only restore 2 statues. Next up we have the Protean logs. These are pretty necessary, I'd say, unless you want to keep banking every kill for more logs, because you do need logs for the fungus attack. And on the same note, we have the Orthen Furnace Core here. What this is going to do is the fire making bonus that it gives is going to mean that you break out of that fungus just a little bit faster. So not super necessary, it's just barely faster, but if you have it, throw it in. Next up we have the Constructor's outfit, the Master Constructor's outfit, along with the Artificer's measure. These are another thing like the Orthen Furnace Core I don't think are 100% necessary. I don't think it's going to break this method. I think you'll still be fast enough. That being said, if you have them, I would definitely throw them on because it is going to make you restore the statues faster. Both of these, the chance to proc and gain additional restoration, they both work on the statues. So if you have them, throw them in. And then last but not least, we have the Super Restores. Pretty self-explanatory. When your stats drain, you gotta restore up. Usually 2 last me a pretty solid amount of time. And then we have our Perfect Plus potion and Water Fiend here. These shouldn't be in your actual preset. You should just, before the start of any session, go ahead and drink up a Perfect Plus potion and summon your Water Fiend. So next up in the worn equipment, first up we have our Karos Clue Carrier. This is just because you tend to get a lot of clues here. I like to put them in there, and I just like the look of having something there instead of an empty slot, because there's nothing really else that you can use for the pocket slot. You could bring the Scripture of Bic and get yourself some clue scrolls while you're doing the boss. However, it's extremely expensive right now. The pages are fairly expensive, and the boss doesn't drop enough to actually upkeep the book, so I don't think it's very worth it at the moment. Next up, we have Grace of the Elves. Again, not important at all. I just have this for the Saren Spirits. Our Grasping Rune Pouch. This is fairly important. It has our runes for Crystal Mask. If you really don't want to dish out for the Grasping Rune Pouch, you can always get two normal rune pouches, take off one of these restores, but you really want Crystal Mask. It is very powerful here. Anytime that the blob comes out, you can Crystal Mask, and it completely negates the blob that like spawns and then moves towards you. So as soon as the fairy ring spec happens and you move away from that, you can activate Crystal Mask, and then you just AFK on the sparkling node, and you don't have to worry about the blob at all, and it makes it faster for you to deplete your node since you don't have to move away. And then lastly, we have the Pontifex Shadow Ring. Not super important again. It's not going to affect the kill times very much. It's just going to give you access to those tier 3 tropes. So that is it for the general preset. Let's move on to the specific things that we add here for each specific node. Alright, so first up here we have my Hunter preset. So I do have the Trim Cape on here. This isn't important. There's no cape slot here that's going to help you. The Hunter Cape does nothing, so it doesn't really matter. The only two things that do matter here that we have added on are the Volcanic Trapper outfit and the Magic Butterfly Net. So those two are going to help you and boost your gather rate. With this preset right here, you will have 100% gather rate as long as you drink your Extreme Hunter Potion. If you do not want to drink this, you want to simply save this for the middle node, then you can also go into your auras and activate your tracker. I only have greater tracker, which I believe is enough. If you have higher, even better. But you can activate your tracker aura, and then that will negate the need for your Extreme Hunter Potion, and you will still have 100% gather success. That being said, you still do want to drink that potion on the middle node if it's Hunter. So that is it for the Hunter preset. Alright, next up we got the Fishing preset. So for the cape here, we have our Gatherer's Cape on, and in here I have the Fishing Cape and the Mining Cape. Obviously the fishing one's what we want for here, but I would recommend if you have the Gatherer's Cape, you do this, because these are the only two capes that have an effect in this boss fight. So if you do this, then you can have the Gatherer's Cape equipped for all four, and that's one less thing that you have to change on your preset when you change skilling nodes. So other than that, the only two other things that we changed here are we want the Fury Shark outfit. We want to go ahead and change the consume options and make sure that's on catch, because the consume option will work, and obviously we don't want that. And then last but not least, we have the Fishing Rod-O-Matic. This is important, as Crystal Rod and Tavia's Fishing Rod do not work here. You do need the Fishing Rod-O-Matic, and we put Hone 6 on that. And with all of this, you should have 100% success rate. If you don't, just go into your auras and go ahead and activate the Call of the Sea aura. But if you have everything that I have here, then you shouldn't need it, and you should have 100% success rate. Alright, so next up we got Mining. So once again, the Gatherer's Cape for the Mining Cape perk. And then we want to change the outfit over to the Magic Golem outfit. And then we want to change our tool over to the Pickaxe of Earth and Song with Hone 6 on it. And that's all you need for mining. Nothing much has changed. And this should give you 100% gather rate. Like I've said, if for some reason you're seeing that you're not, go ahead and just go to your auras, activate your Quarry Master aura, and that should do the trick. Alright, and last but not least, we have our woodcutting preset. So once again, cape does not matter here, the woodcutting cape doesn't work, so all we have changed is we want our Nature's Sentinel outfit on, and we want a crystal hatchet with honed 6. I know it's weird, the crystal rod doesn't work here, but the crystal hatchet does. So we want that with honed 6. And that is all that's different for woodcutting. And just like all of the rest, if you have everything that you see here and 99 woodcutting, you should be getting 100% gather rate. But if for some reason you see that you're not, go ahead and just go over to your auras and activate your lumberjack aura, and that should take care of it. So up next, we will go over the actual method of doing this. Alright guys, so here we are in the Croesus arena. So I'm going to start going over this method now. I'll just let you know now, it's going to be really short, simple to the point. I'll have timestamps for each of the 4, and I want this to be a thing where if you already know what you're doing, you can just click on the timestamp for your role and learn it in literally just a couple minutes. So the main idea of this is that the statue by Rax, the statue of Sena, we are going to completely ignore this one and not build it, and only restore 3. So first off, we will explain the mining rule. Alright, so first up we got mining. So if you are starting on the mining node, you're going to go ahead and start mining your node. You're going to gather up 16 materials and go ahead and bring them over to this deposit box right here. We always gather 16, that way you have 1 extra for safety in case you mess up on the bladed dive surge across the mushrooms. So once you got 16 deposited, you'll come back to your node and keep mining, and you'll want to fully deplete your node. And once your node is fully depleted, you want to make sure you end with 16 materials in your inventory, and we're going to go ahead and run those long. Now, if you're not familiar with the terminology, running long means that we're going to run 2 nodes counterclockwise, and running short means we're going to run 1 node counterclockwise. So since we're running long, we're going to go ahead and run 2 nodes counterclockwise over to the Dag Kings. Once we're here, we're going to go ahead and put our materials into this statue right here, and then we're going to go ahead and restore and pray it up. If you get here and the statue can't be restored yet because you're still waiting on some materials, then you can go ahead and go over here to the dead Varrock guards and gather from them, try to get some extra materials to turn into rot and use on a boss to get some extra contribution. But as soon as you can, you want to go ahead and restore and pray up the statue right here. So ideally with this method, you want this statue and that statue to both be done at the exact same time. However, a lot of the times it can vary with the RNG procs and also just with people going slower. So if you happen to finish your statue first, then you're going to go ahead and go onto the middle node and kill that until the damage phase runs out, and then we're going to blade dive over to that statue and we're going to restore and pray up that one. And vice versa. If they happen to finish before you do, we'll go on to the middle node until it's almost over, and then we'll come up here and finish your statue and pray it. Once both statues are done, this one and the one opposite, then we will go to the middle node, and if it's Hunter, then we will be able to outright kill it. If it is not Hunter, then we will have to, at around 40k HP, bladed dive up to this statue right here, and we will restore and pray that one. And then it's back to the middle and onto the middle node until the boss is dead. And that is it for the mining role. Alright, so next up we have fishing. So fishing is by far the easiest of the 4 roles. So if you have somebody on the group who's maybe a little bit less experienced and you guys are trying to learn this method, I would recommend putting that person on fishing. So to start off with fishing, we're going to go ahead and start depleting our fishing node. And what you want to do here, you don't need to worry about depositing any materials. All you need to do is fully deplete your node while gathering 16 resources. So once your node here is fully depleted and you got 16 fish in your inventory, then we're going to go ahead and run those short. So if you're not familiar with the terminology, running long means going 2 nodes counterclockwise, and running short means going 1 node counterclockwise. So we are going to run the short or 1 node counterclockwise over to the Dag Kings. We're going to go ahead and put our fish into this statue right here, and that is basically our role done. So you're going to, after this point, you're going to look down at the racks and see if that node has been depleted yet. If it's not, then you're going to go ahead and come over here to your bladed dive surge down there, and you're going to go ahead and help the woodcutting role fully deplete the racks node, and then you'll come back up here. If the racks node is already depleted, then you can just come over here to the dead Varrock guards and gather from them and try to get some extra rot to put on a boss to get some more contribution. But other than that, we're just waiting around for mining to get here and put in their resources, and then we can restore the statue and pray it. So ideally we want this statue and that statue to be prayed at the same time, although a lot of times one person will beat the other person. So if that statue beats you and the middle opens, then you want to make sure you get off your statue and go immediately to the middle. So if this statue has been done and that one hasn't, then we'll go ahead and blade a dive over to this statue as soon as the boss phase is over, and we'll finish that. And vice versa. If we did that one first and you didn't have a chance to finish yours, then once the boss phase is over, we'll blade a dive over here and do this one. Or ideally, we'll get them both done at the same time. And once we get both of those done, if the middle node is Hunter, we'll be able to outright kill it. If it's not Hunter, then at around 40k HP, we'll want to blade a dive over to this statue. 2 people will have materials full it, they'll contribute. We'll go ahead and restore and pray and back to the boss, and it'll be dead. And that's it for the fishing. Alright, so next up we have Hunter. So if you start on the Hunter node, you want to start catching on your node, and you want to fully deplete your node while gathering 16 resources. You don't need to worry about depositing in your box at all. So if your inventory fills, you can go ahead and rot some to clear some space. You just want to make sure that you fully deplete your node, and once that's done, you want to end with 16 materials in your invent. After that happens, you're going to go ahead and run those materials long. Now, if you're not familiar with the terminology, long means you're running 2 nodes counterclockwise, and short means that you're running 1 node counterclockwise. So since we're running long, we're going to go ahead and move 2 nodes counterclockwise over to the giant mole. Once we're here, we're going to go ahead and put our materials into this statue, and then we're going to come right over here to this box and make sure we withdraw all, because we're going to need those mining materials later. After you've done that, come back up here and start restoring your statue and then pray it. You will be restoring this statue by yourself, but while the other 3 are on this one, but because you start so much earlier than they do, it should line up to finish at around the same time. Now, when you get here, almost always the mining person, or the woodcutting person rather, should have already ran their materials, and you should have no worry. You should be able to restore right away. If for some reason they're going slow, then you can just go ahead and come over to the dead Varrock guards and just mine some of those for some extra materials and try to get enough rot to use on the boss for some extra contribution. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and restore this, pray ASAP, and then we'll go ahead and go on to the middle boss node. So if you prayed yours first and that one's not done yet, then we're going to go ahead and go over to this one next after the damage phase is over, and vice versa. If the northwest happened to beat you, then after damage phase is over, we'll come back to this one and finish this up. Once both of these are done, if the middle node is Hunter, then we'll be able to outright kill it. If not, then once the boss reaches about 40k HP, we will all blade a dive over to this statue, and that statue right there of Ophthalmi is where you are going to deposit your wood or mining materials that you got from this deposit box. So you put those materials in, we'll restore and pray that statue, back to the middle boss node, and that's where the boss will die. And that is it for the Hunter role. Alright, so last but not least, we have the woodcutting. So if you start on the woodcutting node, you're going to go ahead and start off cutting your timber. You're going to gather 16 materials, and you're going to go ahead and run that short. So if you're not familiar with the terminology, running short means that you're going to run 1 node counterclockwise. Running long means you're going to run 2 nodes counterclockwise. So we're running short, so that means we want to run 1 node counterclockwise over to the giant mole. We're going to deposit all our wood into this statue right here, and then we're going to run right back over to woodcutting. Once we're back here, we're going to get back on our node, and we're going to continue cutting until it is fully depleted. You want to make sure your node is fully depleted, and once that's done, you also want to make sure you end with 16 more materials in your invent. If you happen to deplete it and you don't have enough yet, you can go ahead and mine off the dead Varrock guards and make sure that your node is depleted and you have 16 materials in your invent. Once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and run north this time, a little different than normal. We're going to run north, and we're going to come to this statue right here, and we're going to help restore it. Almost always by the time you get here, the statue is going to be already being restored, and you can start. If for some reason you're really super fast, then you can just go ahead and come over to these dead Varrock guards and gather materials from them, try to get some rot to use on a boss for more contribution. Otherwise, you want to help restore this statue. So ideally, this statue and that statue over there by the giant mole are going to get finished at the same time. But if not, then we'll still want to do both of them right after another. So if we finish our statue first, we're going to go ahead and go to the middle node, kill the boss until the damage phase is over, and then we're going to go ahead and blade a dive over to that statue over there and finish that one. And vice versa, if they finish theirs first, then we're going to go onto the middle node, finish that until damage phase is over, and then we're going to come up here and finish this statue. Now once that's done, we're going to go back to the middle. If it's Hunter, then we will be able to outright kill it. If it's not Hunter, then we will have to add around 40k HP, blade a dive up to this statue right here. We will use the 16 woodcutting materials that we have in our invent on this statue, and then we will go ahead and restore and pray this statue, go back to the middle node, and we will kill the boss until it is dead. And that is it for the woodcutting roll. Alright guys, that is all for this video. This hopefully should have taught you everything you need to know to start doing this faster kill method of Croesus, where you only have to restore 3 statues. So hopefully this provided everything you needed to know. Go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I am happy to answer any questions. Thanks for watching, and take it easy.